talk about it. I'm just asking one simple question. Why aren't blacks, black Americans specifically, as wealthy as other races? I got some new information that's talking about that and a whole bunch more. And we also talking about music, movies, sports, and more. It's all coming up. You kicking with KCMC, baby. Let's get into it. Popular topics, pop tops that may or may not be talked about in the news with yours truly, KCMC. I appreciate you for kicking it with me. Let's get into it. So this first and only story in pop tops is coming from apnews.com, that's the Associated Press, and federalreserve.gov. We got some official sources for you all in the description. And we're talking about this. The median net worth of the typical U.S. household surged by 37% from 2020 to 2022, reaching nearly $193,000, primarily due to rising home values and stock prices. This wealth increase occurred despite the pandemic-related recession that cost 20 million Americans their job in 2020. Government relief aid and additional spending contributed to the rapid recovery, yet also fueled high inflation. Notably, this broad-based wealth increase had significant impact on the U.S. economy, sustaining consumer spending, which drives 2/3 of it. However, substantial wealth inequality persisted, with this wealthiest 10% of households having a median wealth of nearly $3.8 million in 2022. Now, income disparities also worsened, which is what I want to talk about, although wages for lower income workers increased since the pandemic struck in 2020. That's what I want to talk about. How just slightly before the pandemic in 2019 and the pandemic and a few years afterwards have increased wealth in the overall average household across America, but it has also still shown that there are big disparities, different levels between African American households, white American, Hispanic, and others, right? So what I really want to focus on are the disparities. Household net worth rose more on a percentage basis for black and Hispanic households more than white ones. Although measured in dollar terms, the disparities remained wide. The median net worth of black household jumped 60%, but remained comparatively low at only $45,000 annually per household for black Americans. For Hispanics, the figure surged 47%, their median wealth per household, to nearly $62,000 annually. Among white households, the median household net worth rose only 31%, but it rose to a total of $285,000 per household. Do you see what we're talking about when we're saying disparities? Yes, black households, yeah, they were getting more money. Overall, they had more wealth, more assets, I should say. Excuse me on the more money necessarily. But overall, it still doesn't compare to where whites, Hispanics, and other races are. So they're behind the 8 ball, black Americans. What factors contributed to the increase in the net worth for the black and Hispanic households? Do you think home ownership rates is you know, since they say the value of homes have appreciated so much in the last couple of years? So I visited this, right? According to the federalreserve.gov, home ownership rates amongst whites in 2019, 74% of white households owned a home. In 2022, 73%, only a 1% decrease. Hispanics in 2019, 48% of Hispanic households owned a home. In 2022, 51%. So a 3% increase there. Black households, however, 45% of black households, which I was even surprised about, owned a home in 2019. As of 2022, there was only a 1% increase to 46%. This is according to the federalreserve.gov. You can look it up in the description. And that is not a substantial or a significant increase. So I don't think we can necessarily blame black people owning more black people owning homes, attributing to the increase in their average net worth, right? Which was an increase of what? 60%? Okay, so maybe it's the education or education debt that played a role that made black households, a 60% increase. I don't think that's necessarily the case either. The percentage of income used for payment burdens, according to the Federal Reserve.gov, white households, 19% of their income went towards payments of burdens that they had in 2019. In 2017, 2% decrease. White households only use 17% of their income on burdens that they have to pay for. We talking about rent, loans, other type of fees, right? Hispanic households in 2019, 32% of their income went towards those payment burdens. That's a third. That's a third of your income going towards rent, loans, and other like real serious bills. We're not even talking about the minor bills, phone bills and stuff like that. That's a hefty percentage already. That's in 2019. In 2022, it was a 2% decrease to 30%. 30% of Hispanic households' income went towards those specific bills. Now let's go to black households. In 2019, 29% of black households' income went towards payment on their rent, loans, which means credit cards and all that other type of debt, your car note. In 2019, it was a 1% increase in 2022 to 28%. So higher numbers indicate more income went towards loans, rent, other fees. So higher numbers imply families had less income otherwise to spend or to save. So at the end of the day, Hispanics in that category actually had spent the most when it comes to loans, rent, and other types of fees. And black people came in second. Only 17% for white households in 2022. We don't know what that's going to be technically this year in 2023 or in other years going forward. What about the increase of the home values, the stocks, other type of assets? Maybe that's the reason why black people went up 60% in their value, in their wealth, I should say, average wealth. Well, the net home value for the typical family that owned their home did increase overall for the average family. For the white household in 2019, $150,000, and then in 2022 rose to $205,000. That's average net home value for the white household. Hispanics in 2019, their average net home value was $110,000. In 2022, it rose to $135,000. As it should. That's the pandemic effect. For black households in 2019, their average net home value was $77,000. And in 2022, it did rise to $123,000, which is still lower than whites and Hispanics and other races. Last place. What about the stocks? A lot of people were investing in stocks during the pandemic. Maybe black people had a crazy bounce since we were all talking about it on social media. Black Twitter going crazy. White people, their average value dollar stock amount in 2019, $59,000. In 2022, after the pandemic, $68,000 average white stock value per household. Hispanics, only $17,000 in 2019. It rose though. In 2022, rose to $25,000, the average stock value in dollar amounts. Wow, okay, so with all this, it seemed like everybody increasing. Black households had to increase, right? A lot, right? This is the main thing. In 2019, the average black household had a net stock value amount worth $17,000. In 2022, same thing, $17,000. Barely increased to the point where it wasn't even like by a couple thousand. It was like a couple hundred. So the average black household stock Didn't even change in the last couple years, post-pandemic, pre-pandemic. So what really happened? What about businesses, right? A lot of black people started some businesses since the pandemic, right? PPP loans and whatnot. I know some family members. Did they get some money for real? Did that really help the black community? Let's talk about it compared to the white and Hispanic communities. The average white community household, $116,000 in 2019, $105,000 in 2022, with the average business value in dollar amounts. So it was a slight decrease, actually. Hispanic households in 2019, 61,000, decreased to 40,000. Black households in 2019, 81,000, and decreased to 41,000 average business value dollar amount in 2022. A lot of decreases there. Everybody decreased, actually. But I feel like a lot of people started some businesses. So it was some BS businesses. Or these businesses really didn't do nothing even within these 3 years. What I'm saying is, I don't know how black households necessarily got this significant increase. A little bit of home values, maybe a little bit of I don't know. I don't know if I can attribute maybe less of their income going towards payment burdens. That's a little bit to do with it. Other than that, a lot of black households depended on government relief aid and government assistance to increase their overall wealth. And that is not good. That is not good. What is the long-term effect of this? What are we really talking about? There could be some regional disparities also. On the West Coast, California, for an example, cost of living is way higher than it would be in the South or the Midwest, where we are, for an example. Then you got the northeastern region of the United States, New York, Boston, that type of area. Cost of living is a little bit higher than what it would be in the Midwest, or maybe even in the South, for an example. Certain regions of the South. So there are some different disparities that happen in those regions also. But the long-term consequences, are we going to lean towards a purge? Are we going to lean towards Hunger Games? Those type of things. I don't know if it's going to be a movie effect long term. But what I will say is it doesn't seem good to be conscious of it, to have different type of topics where we can discuss it. We can see the numbers coming from the government themselves, whether or not you want to believe it or take it for a fact. The whole point is you take that and you make the adjustments from there. I don't want to use any type of racial inequalities, anything, because there's always an exception to the rule. Whether or not they did it on their own, or you want to call it a plant, or a systematic, affirmative action to be an example. Either way it go, I think a mindset is all about it. It's all about mindset. So don't let anything be an obstacle. Just know that you can get through it. Just know, okay, so this road is blocked. I need to find a detour. But I need to stay going straight towards my objective. You see what I'm saying? So those numbers just put a different perspective in for me, who I guess would identify as a black American. An American first and foremost, but American of African descent. ADOS, FBA, if you will. But that's just me. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show. 313-466-4386. Let's switch it up, man. Talk about some music real quick. I want to talk about music in the audio audit. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it, man. I want to talk about this first project we listened to. This is from my Detroit homeboy, Peasy. Got a project he put out called Ghetto. Listen to this on YouTube Music, no endorsement. 16 tracks, 46 minutes. So just within, I should say, my duration of range of projects I like. I like it to be 30 minutes to 45 minutes, I should say. 46 minutes ain't bad. That way it ain't too short that I don't take it serious, too long that I don't get bored. A couple songs stood out to me. I don't think there's no real singles that's playing on the radio nationwide from this project, but A couple songs stood out to me, at least about 4 of them. Noah Miris featuring Key Glock. Silo Simon featuring Baby Tron. That was pretty decent. Rich Freak featuring Skilla Baby. And one of the greatest featuring RMC Mike. Those 4 tracks out of 16 stood out to me. That's about 25%. That's about a quarter of the project. Pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. It might have been another 1 or 2 tracks that were decent, but it just didn't stand out to me necessarily. But they were still straight. So I get it's a little bit about 30-35% average out of the whole project, where I feel like it's a real solid project. Not too bad, man, but I just gave it a quick listen. Ghetto, Ghetto by Peasy. Shout out to Peasy, Team Eastside, representing Detroit. That's what I thought about it. Let me know what you think about it. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show 313-466-4386. I do have another project that I did listen to. Shout out to Griselda, representing Buffalo, New York, if I'm not mistaken. West Side Gun. Listen to his project. It was called And Then You Pray For Me on YouTube Music. No endorsement. Shout out to YouTube Music, though. 21 tracks, an hour, 15 minutes long. So if you know me, you already know. This was way longer than what I like out of a project to be at the most 45 minutes. So I don't consider myself a Griselda fan, but what I will say is I did like a few projects or a few songs for some other artists, or maybe even West Side Gun. I get them confused sometimes. But at this point, I promise you, I don't think I like any song on here for the most part. None of these songs have replay value to me personally. No song stood out to me. I have nothing written down for this project. That is not to shit on my man's West Side Gun. That is not the shit on him. Maybe his last project was good. I don't know. I don't remember. If it came out, I'm pretty sure I listened to it. Pause. But other than that, I don't like nothing from this project. Maybe I missed something. They say you gotta listen to a project more than once. Let it sink in. Some you might listen, but I feel like at that point you program yourself to like it. Get familiar with it. Familiarity breeds content. That's just what I'm saying. Other than that, I don't want to discredit West Side Gun as an artist, but I did not like this project, And Then You Pray For Me. That's just me. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show. 313-466-4386. Do I have another project I listen to? I believe so. I had to listen to my man's Gucci. Listen to his latest project, Fresh Breath of Air, on YouTube Music. No endorsement. Shout out to YouTube, though. 24 tracks, hour 15 minutes. Long as hell, bro. Long as hell. But I kind of expect this from Gucci Mane, right? Gucci Mane is consistent with putting out projects, not only projects, but long projects, pause. But I think there's at least one song that's a single from here. Might be a few other ones. There I Go featuring J. Cole, I believe, is a single. If not, it at least stood out to me. Right? It at least stood out to me. So a couple other songs stood out to me. Must Be Me, which was the intro to the whole entire project. It was pretty solid. I feel like Gucci Mane went off. He said some stuff on there. That I was like, okay, all right, I hear you, Gucci. He got a song called Trap Money featuring Lee Rai, and then Set. So Lee Rai and Set. That was a pretty decent song. I actually feel like I like the features more than I like Gucci on that track. They just made it a little bit more interesting. So that whole track is Trap Money was pretty interesting though. That stood out to me. Pretty Girls featuring Young Dolph. Rest in peace, Young Dolph, dog. That song stood out to me. That was pretty decent. I was vibing to that. I was like, all right, I like this. And then Stomach Grumbling. Also, Stomach Grumbling, I like that. Oh, and Big Boy Diamonds featuring Kodak Black. I think Kodak Black was on this album twice, but I like Big Boy Diamonds, which was the last track on this project. I like that, though. That went hard. Pause. So that's about 6 tracks out of 24. That's a quarter of the project though. So I feel like if you would have cut this project in half and had those 6 tracks on there, we'd have been shooting 50% from the field on this project. At least from my perspective. You feel me? And I would have been like, that's a solid project at the very least. But that's just what I think. Gucci Mane putting out another project, Breath of Fresh Air. All respect to him too. A couple other tracks I did like, but they just didn't necessarily stand out. I guess that's because I listened to him before. Mirror with Millions was one. I gotta respect him on that. A couple other ones. So I'll give him a little bit more than 25% as far as his range and songs that stood out to me. But other than that, too many songs still. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show. 313-466-4386. Man, we about to switch it up and get up out of here eventually. We're about to talk about movies, TV shows that we saw recently in Core and Stream. You know what I mean? You feel me? So we watched this movie called The Burial. This is on Amazon Prime. No endorsement. This was 2 hours, 8 minutes. 2 hours and 8 minutes. Now, I don't necessarily have a limit on how I feel like it's too long for a movie, but I feel like about 2.5 hours, it's too damn long. This was all right. This was like a drama, I believe is the genre, but it stars Jamie Foxx, Tommy Lee Jones, and Journey Smollett. Tommy Lee Jones, the old white man from Man in Black with Will Smith. Journey Smollett, little light-skinned chick, pretty light-skinned chick, who's the sister of Jussie Smollett. Yeah, that name sounds familiar, right? But inspired by true events, when a handsome deal goes sour, funeral home owner Jeremiah O'Keefe, played by Academy Award winner Tommy Lee Jones, enlists charismatic attorney Willie E. Gary. Academy Award winner Jamie Foxx plays him to save his family business. Tempers flare and laughter ensues as the unlikely pair bonds while exposing corporate corruption and racial injustice in this inspirational and triumphant story. Now, what I will say is, there was a little bit of everything in there. You laughed. I didn't cry, but you felt emotional to the point of being sad. You felt angry. You felt all types of emotions. This hit on that. In the previews, trailer, I had no interest whatsoever. But I was like, man, let me just watch this. My mom Tracy told me to watch it. I was like, all right, let me watch this. I watched it. Solid movie, bro. Very, very solid movie, bro. Inspired by true events, which I don't know what the hell that means. I guess that means there is a real life Willie E. Garrett and a real life Jeremiah O'Keefe, and this kind of happened exactly how it happened. Was probably, a little bit more dramatic in the movie, but nonetheless, that's what they mean by true events. Okay, I'll take that. So it was nice to know that. It was nice to know that, man. But I really don't know if I have any buts. It's just not what you would think it would be, is what I would say. But I will recommend it. I will recommend The Burial or Burial. I don't know, bro. Amazon Prime by Jamie Foxx, Tommy Lee Jones, Journey Smollett. Let me know what you think if you did see it. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show. 313-466-4386. Let's switch it up, man. Let's talk about sports, baby. From the stands of a sports fan, my man Pots and Pans, let's get into it. Couple topics we want to talk about, man, with NBA. First and foremost, the NBA preseason has officially ended, and the NBA season starts Tuesday, October 24th. Excuse me, I had to think about the day. October 24th. So the preseason is over. I feel like a lot of players, key players, star players from each team came out and showed out. Like, I don't know if I usually see that too often, but I feel like each player, Steph Curry's of the Golden State Warriors, LeBron and AD's of the Lakers, Dame Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks, Jimmy Butler, the Miami Heat, Jason Tatum and the Jaylen Browns of the Boston Celtics, everybody kind of showed out. And I'm like, yo, this is nice. They're really giving us a preview of the season / postseason. And we're all looking forward to it. We're all looking forward to it. But speaking of the season / preseason, we already talked about Wemby. That just came up in my head. But I want to talk about this, right? The MVPs, the key players, the people who are going to be the star players of the NBA, the future. Who do you think they're going to be? Are they going to be American-born or internationally born players? Since 2000, Americans captured Kia MVP honors on 16 occasions, while international players won it 8 times. This is since 2000, so this has been 23 years. During the prime years of LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, Americans embarked on an 11-year streak of season MVP on the heels of a 3-year run from 2005 to 2007 by international Hall of Famers Steve Nash twice and Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki, once upon a time, at least during that era of 2005, 2007, was my favorite player, I must say. So at one point in my life, I felt like he deserved it. He deserved it. And he probably did. I love Dirk Nowitzki for a player. He introduced me to NBA. He was one of my first jerseys I ever owned, Dirk Nowitzki. My mom got it for me for Christmas. So shout out to Dirk, that 2005-2007 year. But this season, expect continued international domination. The current betting odds favor 3 international players: Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid, who already have at least an MVP each. Plus, superstar guard Luka Doncic has been one of the favorites among bettors in each of the last 4 seasons. So what are we really saying, man? We just had this discussion about the best players in the world being in the NBA. Now, with this international player taking over for the potential MVP, is that a proven fact now? Is that a proven fact? The best players in the NBA are coming from international countries? Because it appears to be that. So, what are we really doing? So, should we really expand the NBA to other countries like they are doing now? Should we really be looking at other players from other countries? Should we be looking at other leagues? Listen, this is what I want to say. Ultimately, I think I appreciate the American-made players. I appreciate the internationally born players who come here and play in the NBA. Overall, I'm still going to say this. I don't think NBA champions should be called world champions, because I think if you really train to get other international players together in a certain country, they could probably be better than an American-born team, an NBA team. With the fact that we're getting players from all other countries that are already dominating and being the favorites for MVPs. So, yes, with that being said, I think international players are turning out to be a little bit better. They're growing up to, they're 7'4". Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", coming down the court and moving and pushing the ball like a guard, taking up space like a forward, and actually dunking and doing the tip off like a center. What are we doing? It's a whole nother ball game now, ladies and gentlemen. Kristaps Porzingis, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Victor Wembanyama. Chet Holmgren is the only guy who's American-born to my knowledge. Oklahoma City Thunder. And now he's playing phenomenal. I will give him that. But I will want to know, Chet Holmgren is not a rookie, bro. Last year was his first season, if I'm not mistaken. He was just injured and sat out. That ain't nobody's fault but yours. You still had NBA experience, NBA trainers to help you get better. It ain't like you came from college injured and then joined the NBA. So I don't believe that. I don't believe he should be in even the contention for Rookie of the Year. I hate that. When Ben Simmons did the same thing, he was a contention for Rookie of the Year. I forgot what happened with that. I think it was with him and Dame Lillard or something. I can't remember. Either way it go, I didn't like that. Didn't like it at all. And I don't think Chet Holmgren should get Rookie of the Year. I don't think you should be in the competition for it because you've already been around with the NBA trainers and league. Nonetheless, he's an American-made player, and I think international players are dominating the league now. That's just what I think. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat, in the comments, or call to the show. 313-466-4386. Hey, real quick, reflecting on the preseason. I just want to note this real quick. Jordan Poole had a 41-point game. Now, Jordan Poole now plays for the Washington Wizards, just in case you didn't know that. He was traded from Golden State Warriors. He tied for the most points in a Wizards preseason game since 2000, which means he joins the company of Michael Jordan, who also scored 41 points on October 20th, 2021. Just wanted to put that out there. Led by Jordan Poole's 41 points, he was 10 from 19 from the field, 5 rebounds, 6 3-pointers, in 27 minutes. They defeated the Knicks, by the way, 113-106. They had Mike Muscala, who added 20 points and 7 rebounds. Julius Randle tallied 20 points and 10 rebounds for the Knicks, and the Wizards improved to 3-0 in the preseason, while the Knicks fall to 1-3. It's just a preseason. Nobody really cares. But that was impressive coming from Jordan Poole. With the little Mario and Luigi mustache and look, yo, he seems like a rebellious teenager who was kicked out of his house early. Who was kicked out of his house as soon as he turned 18. His parents said, get your ass out and go make it. And he went to the Washington Wizards. He's looking pretty nice in the preseason. Is he going to carry them? Is he going to carry them to do something? Can he carry a franchise by himself? Can he do better than Bradley Beal is the question with the Washington Wizards. You got your whole franchise to lead now, right? Let's see what you can do, Jordan Poole. You know, I feel like a lot of people want to a lot of people, I would say, we heard the rumors about your attitude in Golden State. You know, I don't know what side people are on, but I've heard the rumors about you in Golden State. Talking a lot of stuff, being on some light-skinned stuff, a young guy who won a championship off the heels of people who already planted that seed and been there. So now you have some type of sassy attitude. Okay, let's see what you can do with the Wizards. You even showed off in the preseason. Keep that consistent in the season and show where it counts in the postseason, Jordan Poole. Then we can talk. That's all I got to say about Jordan Poole. Let me know what you think about Jordan Poole. Your predictions for him. Go off in the live chat, in the comments. Call into the show, 313-466-4386. James Harden. I want to talk about him because he could be subject to a $389,082 fine for every preseason/season game he misses. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he missed every preseason game. Which is about, 4, 5, 6 of them? Something like that. I don't know. The fine would fall under, quote, failure to render services, end quote. Yeah, you are hired to, provide the services of being a basketball player. Now, he is also subject to a $2,500 fine per practice that he misses. My man's ain't been showing up. He's protesting General Manager Daryl Morey, or whatever his name is, and he says he doesn't want to work under him. He ain't really showing up. I think he showed up to a few practices, 1 or 2. But nonetheless, listen, James Harden, you're making it hard for your value to show up, for you to even be a traded player. Who are they going to trade you to? Who wants you after this? You're not the player you used to be. That's already proven in your season with the 76ers. Now you're acting like this. You're a veteran now. You're a veteran. So you're supposed to be showing leadership to a team with rookie players. You're gonna end up in a place like Detroit, respectfully, because I love Detroit. That's my team. But you're gonna end up in a place like that with a team full of rookies. And they need veteran leadership, by the way. I do want to point that out to the Detroit Pistons. So anyway, James Harden, I already felt like you ended your career on a bad note. On a bad note. Don't think you're gonna get a championship unless you fall in the hands of a good situation. And I don't see that happening. So James Harden, I think your career is ending bad. I asked the same question to a few other players who move around so much. The Kevin Durant's also. Where should your jersey be retired at the end of the day? You weren't comfortable anywhere. Where should your jersey be retired? Houston, OKC? Not Brooklyn, not the 76ers. It's an argument for Houston or OKC, but what did you really do there? I don't agree with it. So you think you're a great player, but answer this question. Where should your jersey be retired? James Harden? That's just what I think. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat in the comments or call into the show 313-466-4386. I do want to stay in sports, but I do want to switch it up and talk about the NFL real quick if you don't mind. NFL, I do want to talk about this. I got some other stuff I got to talk about. I got to switch it up, though. So NFL, we're talking about week 7. Week 7 just wrapped up, or it's in the process of wrapping up. But the Lions in week 6, they beat the Bucks on the road. They advanced to 5-1. Went into week 7 on the road playing the Ravens. Now the Ravens was the one team on the Lions that I said we're going to have trouble with. I said the Lions had potential to be 6-0 in the season leading up into the Baltimore Ravens. Because I knew Baltimore Ravens would be a problem, especially on the road. Lo and behold, we lost them 38-6. 38-6. We embarrassed ourselves. We got exposed, nonetheless. I kind of like this. Brings us down a little bit. Brings me down a little bit. Pause. But what I will say, it shows us what we need to work on. I didn't get a chance to watch this game because I was in Chicago at the time, so my local game was the Bears, who did beat the Raiders, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The Lions, there's a lot more to work on. We're not as great as we thought we were. There's still problems ahead. The Ravens are a good team. They aren't great, though. I don't think they're Super Bowl contenders. With that being said, I don't feel like we lost to a legit team. Seattle Seahawks, I don't feel like we lost to a legit team. They're good teams, but I feel like we should have beat them both. So, Lions, we got more to work on, man. It was a sad loss. Now we are 5-2 as of week 7. 5-2. Like I said about the Bears, though, Chicago Bears, my secondary team, they hosted the Vikings last week, and they did lose. Justin Fields did get injured in the third quarter, and going into week 7 this week, he did not play. I forgot the backup quarterback's name. I should have looked it up. I don't necessarily care to look it up right now. Who cares? He's the backup quarterback for the Bears, and he did fantastic. Think he had like for a fact he had no interceptions. He had a win at home, the Bears' first win at home this season. They beat the Raiders, so I have to applaud them for that. Bears beat the Raiders, their second win of the season. A few different teams started off the season 1-5, and then advanced to being in the playoffs. So the Bears, ain't no telling what could happen. I know Justin Fields is on the sideline sweating, probably hoping that the backup quarter did not get a win and prove that they can get a win without him. You gotta know this. So Justin Fields, as we know that you're happy that your team gets a win overall and they don't completely do bad, especially with an opportunity to do decent going forward in this season, but it still shows that you can be replaced and traded. and you aren't as valuable as you think you are. I just had to put that out there, man. Other than that, I do want to talk about, the Dolphins beat the Eagles. The Dolphins, no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. The Eagles beat the Dolphins. Eagles hosted the Dolphins. This was a Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa meeting. Their first professional meeting. They were quarterbacks on the same team playing for Alabama. I think back in like 2017, 2018, something all the way far back. Along with Mac Jones, by the way. But like I said, the Eagles actually beat the Dolphins. And they beat them, I ain't going to say bad, but they had a 2-score lead ending the game. I think it was a 31-17. Excuse me, 31-17. Final score. Dolphins beat the Eagles. So the Eagles show that they are the better team. They are the better team in a lot of cases right now against a lot of different teams. I forgot their only loss this season. I cannot remember. But nonetheless, the Eagles are a good team. They're a legit team. A lot of people don't believe that they're playing their best. If they're not playing their best and they only have one loss, more than a third of the way through the season, I think they're doing fantastic. And they're on the path to do great. This time last year, they were just undefeated. One loss away from being what they were last season and going to the Super Bowl, by the way. So the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, which I always felt was a legit quarterback, and I'll prove they're the professionals, doing his thing, man. And they beat Tua Tagovailoa and Miami Dolphins at the crib. So shout out to the Eagles for that. Also want to talk about the Broncos holding on to beat the Green Bay Packers, despite the mistakes that they were making throughout the game. Jordan Love threw an interception to end the game. Had a completely great opportunity to win the game. Come down, all they had to do was kick a field goal. I believe the Broncos won 17-19. All he had to do was come down and be in field goal position, bro, and hold the ball long enough to not give the Broncos a chance to score or be in field goal position. Broncos should have did that, but they scored and came down and did what they had to do too early. All right, so as a result, Jordan Love just had to be patient. Got too greedy, threw a Hail Mary damn near pass, and it got intercepted. It looked horrible. I call it a rookie mistake, even though he's not a rookie. This is his first season starting as a quarterback for the Packers. So, it was a rookie mistake to me. Whether it's first year, second year, third year. Rookie mistake. Nonetheless, Packers take another L, which we needed. And the Packers, Russell Wilson, they look decent. They look decent, man. So that's about it in regards to that. I do have some updates on some other sports. I did just want to say real quick, Michigan did beat Michigan State. Michigan did beat Michigan State in East Lansing. So shout out to Michigan. Number 2, it was expected. Michigan State didn't even score. I think it was like 38-0 or something crazy. Then you got Ohio State. They beat Penn State. Both of them were undefeated. But Ohio State got it done inside the horseshoe, whatever the heck. Nobody cares. Then we want to talk about WNBA. I do want to get out of this NFL. What's the name real quick? See, I don't have no other title necessarily. So I do want to talk about the WNBA. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. Became the first repeat WNBA champions in 21 years, beating New York Liberty 70-69 in Game 4 of the WNBA Finals. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces, putting it down, winning back-to-back championships. You know, doing their thing, man. I just want to shout them out. Shout them out for that. I feel like that's very cool. Nothing to really say. I don't want to say anything negative about the WNBA. I haven't necessarily sat and watched the full game in a long time. I plan on starting to do that. The hype for WNBA and women's sports, college sports, I should say, it's starting to hype up a little bit more. Maybe we should pay a little bit more attention. I still feel like, in basketball specifically, we need you dunking. We need you dunking, dominating, making fantastic plays. Like, y'all already do crossovers, amazing passes, long three-pointers. I'm with that. But I need your nuts in somebody's face, respectfully, when you're dunking. We still need to see that from the WNBA. So that's it about the WNBA. Shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. Last thing about sports, the Olympics. 5 sports officially added to the Olympics for the Los Angeles Summer Olympics, by the way. The International Olympic Committee announced it has accepted a proposal by local organizers of the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles to add baseball/softball, cricket, flag football, lacrosse, and squash to the event's sports programs. The Los Angeles Olympics will mark the first time ever that flag football and squash have been played. Baseball and softball were included most recently at the Tokyo Games in 2020, while cricket was played during the Paris Olympics in the 1900s. In 1900, I should say. Lacrosse was included in the program in St. Louis in 1904 and in London in 1908. Fun facts, by the way. So this is the first time ever flag football will be introduced. And this is getting very popular, by the way. This is a sport even girls can play, women can play without that serious injury of like the real tough physical hits that could occur. Like in real men's sports. So, yeah, I think this could be entertaining. I enjoy flag football. I like playing it. But the real nitty gritty of the entertainment part is we want to see them crack some hits, pause. That's what we enjoy about professional men's football. But I respect flag football for what it is. I enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing it in the Olympics, especially with women. I feel like I could really enjoy that. I could really enjoy that. But let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat, in the comments, call into the show. 313-466-4386. Let's switch it up, man, and we're going to eventually get up out of here. I just got a couple things I need to tell you real quick if you don't mind. First and foremost, this is what I'm getting sick of, right? I'm getting real sick of seeing these law firms market, these other businesses in general, but law firms specifically market completely different to the urban and black communities than what they do for these white or suburban communities, right? You got these law firms that's advertising to the suburbs and the white communities. They're like McIntosh, Hunter, and Greenberg law firm. Or you got the Sam Bernstein law offices. They're advertising to the white people. But then in the hood, you got 411 Pain, WeWin.com, Slip and Fall Accident Lawyers. They be in commercials talking about, oh, ain't you glad you didn't get in an accident with your side chick in the car? Like, this is a real advertisement on commercial. We don't want to see that in the black community. Why can't we get real lawyers? I hate lawyers and other businesses pandering to the black community. Talk to me nicely. That's just what I think. Let me know what you think. Go off in the live chat in the comments. Call into the show. 313-466-4386. We about to get up out of here, but before we do, I need you to do me a favor, of course. Kick it with KCMC on all social media at KIWKCMC. That's just the abbreviations for Kick It with KCMC on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all that at KIWKCMC. And also do me a favor, show some love to my sponsors. Also, Team Elite. They on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also at TEAMELITE 313. Team Elite 313 on all social media platforms. And check out their premium urban-based athleisure wear. That's t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, tech fleece, jogger sets, varsity sets, and more. It's all on their website, teamelite313.com. Ask your mom and use that code KIWKCMC for that. You know, that little deal we got you, baby. Appreciate you for getting with KCMC, man. Getting this far in the video. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Appreciate you. Definitely need you to hit that like button. It's for the free skis, you feel me? Other than that, if you got some bread, donate to the show so we can grow. We appreciate that also. Make sure you also subscribe. Hit the alert so you know when we going live. Stream my singles, Juice, Hands and Knees featuring my boy, or with my boy, I should say, Techmatic, man. Holla at me, man. We appreciate you. Show some love to my sponsor. We out.